I keep hearing the same story from friends who tried to save a few bucks on a budget Cup machine, only to end up with a unit that sputters, needs constant descaling, and never quite hits that Keflevel crema. The regret is real, and it makes the decision to drop anywhere near a few $100s on a coffee maker feel risky. That's why I wanted to see if the Jura E6 Platinum actually lives up to the promise of being a smarter buy, or if it's just another expensive disappointment. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the E6 sits in a sweet spot that most homebrew enthusiasts talk about. It's not the bare-bones single-serve pod machine, but it's also not the industrial-grade model you'd find in a high-traffic CAF. The brand markets it as a versatile system, and that claim shows up in 3 everyday scenarios I've tested. In my own kitchen, I use it for a quick espresso before work, a mid-morning latte while answering emails, and a late-afternoon cappuccino for a guest who prefers a milk-forward drink. Each of those drinks comes from the same base unit without me having to juggle separate machines or extra accessories. The first thing you notice when you pull the machine out of the box is the operation flow. Jura designed the interface to be almost conversational. You press a single button, the machine greets you with a light ring that confirms it's ready, and you can scroll through a handful of preset drinks. The presets themselves feel less like static options and more like starting points you can tweak on the fly. For instance, the Americano button doesn't just dump hot water over a shot. You can hold the button a second longer to add an extra ounce of water, which is a tiny but handy customization that many cheaper machines lack. That level of on-the-spot adjustment is where the customization badge really earns its keep. Now, the grinder. Jura equips the E6 with a built-in ceramic burr grinder that claims to preserve aroma and deliver consistent particle size. In practice, I've noticed that the grind adjusts smoothly when I switch from a light roast for a bright espresso to a darker blend for a richer lungo. The machine's internal sensor listens to the bean's resistance and makes micro-adjustments without me needing to dig into a menu. That's a practical strength you only see in higher-end models, and it translates to a steadier crema and less waste. I've never had to manually redos because the shot came out thin or bitter, which is a common annoyance with cheaper grinders that either overgrind or undergrind. Technology-wise, the E6 is built around Jura's pulse extraction process, which basically means the water is forced through the coffee puck in short bursts rather than a continuous stream. The effect is a fuller flavor extraction and a thicker crema. I compared a shot from the E6 to a shot from a budget machine that uses a simple pump, side by side, and the difference was noticeable. The Jura shot held its crema longer and tasted smoother, especially on beans that are usually finicky. That's not just hype, it's a concrete benefit you can taste during the first sip. Versatility isn't just about the drinks you can make, it's also about how the machine fits into the rhythm of a household. My partner hates cleaning, so the fact that the E6 has an automatic cleaning and descaling cycle that runs itself once a week is a real time saver. The drip tray is large enough for 2 mugs, and the milk frother can handle both a small cappuccino and a larger latte without needing a separate container. However, there is a hidden trade-off. The water tank is 1.9 liters, which is decent but means you'll need to refill it at least once a day if you're making multiple drinks for a family of 4. That's something you have to budget for in terms of daily hassle. Who should buy the Jura E6? If you're someone who values a good cup of coffee every morning, enjoys experimenting with bean varieties, and wants a machine that can handle a range of drinks without you becoming a barista, the E6 fits nicely. It's also a solid pick for small offices where a couple of people share a single unit and appreciate the quick, repeatable results. On the flip side, if you're primarily after a single espresso a day and don't want to think about milk frothing, a simpler model would likely save you both money and counter space. Likewise, if you're extremely price-sensitive, the E6 sits in a premium bracket where the cost might outweigh the convenience for a casual drinker. The practical weaknesses are subtle but worth noting. The machine's interface, while sleek, can feel a bit menu-heavy after the first few uses. You have to scroll through a couple of screens to reach the less common drink options, which can be a minor annoyance when you're in a hurry. Also, the machine is a bit noisy during the grinding phase. It's not deafening, but the sound can.